Pieces flying left and right. Time is running out, but it's alright. Time is running out. Patterns form like magic tricks. Fingers dance with quick, sharp flicks.
Eyes are locked on cardboard hues. Every move's a racing muse. Corners meet with frantic cheer. Victory's scent is drawing near. Puzzle mania late at night. Feeling high on this steel light. Counting seconds ticking down. Champion in this jigsaw town. Brains on fire, tension snaps. Hands aligned at final clasp. Cheers are up, the crowd's amazed. In the glow of winning race. Piece by piece we conquer all. Speed puzzlers in the hall. Eyes on target, hearts ablaze. In this rush we find our craze. Puzzle mania late at night. Feeling high on this steel light. Counting seconds ticking down. Champion in this jigsaw town.
Pieces flying left and right. Time is running out, but it's alright. Patterns form like magic tricks. Fingers dance with quick, sharp flicks.
Eyes are locked on cardboard hues. Every move's a racing muse. Corners meet with frantic cheer. Victory's scent is drawing near. Puzzle mania late at night. Feeling high on this steel light. Counting seconds ticking down. Champion in this jigsaw town. Brains on fire, tension snaps. Hands aligned at final clasp. Cheers are up, the crowd's amazed. In the glow of winning race. Piece by piece we conquer all. Speed puzzlers in the hall. Eyes on target, hearts ablaze. In this rush we find our craze. Puzzle mania late at night. Feeling high on this steel light. Counting seconds ticking down. Champion in this jigsaw town.
Pieces flying left and right. Time is running out, but it's alright. Patterns form like magic tricks. Fingers dance with quick, sharp flicks.
Eyes are locked on cardboard hues. Every move's a race in muse. Corners meet with
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's competition with an unreleased puzzle. Can I get a little sign of life from all the participants? Is that you can hear me all right? All right. Lovely to see you all there. Yes, I hope you're all feeling excited for an unreleased puzzle, and this time it's actually from a new brand. First time that we have such a cooperation, so look forward to the reveal in the next minutes. But before then, I'd just like to welcome our co-hosts for the evening. I see Hannah is there, and Fuji has also arrived. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Yeah, so we also had a theme for today, and considering the World Cup soccer is going on at the moment, it made me think about World Cup of puzzling and what that might look like. Yeah, when we have nations competing against nations. So I'd love to know, Hannah, have you had any thoughts about that?
It's such an interesting thing because puzzling, I feel like, is one of the sports. I mean, track and field and swimming have this where they have so many different kinds of events you can compete in. But I feel like as a puzzling like community, we're still trying to figure out. I mean, obviously, like a 500 for individuals is like the general competition that everyone does. But if it's a World Cup, is it a teams-based World Cup? Is it pairs? Is it a relay? There are so many like different ways that we could create a World Cup. Like, is it the same as the World Championships? Is it different? So I think there's like so many different ways that you could take it. We just had like the World Series introduce a completely different way to do it. So the possibilities feel literally limitless. A couple people who answered the poll that you sent out, Michelle, about this question also talked about that there have been some issues in the past of like where puzzlers compete, like for their nations, because there are some folks with like multiple nationalities or citizenships. So that is also something to consider with something like this. But like, I think it would be very cool, but oh my gosh, I have no idea what it would look like. We could do so many different things.
Yeah, so my only, well, when I think about this topic, I have to think about my own experience at the World Championship when we had the Nations Challenge, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that experience. But I have to say, for a small country, we're scraping to get 10 puzzlers. So we officially have like on who actually arrived there on the first day, like maybe 6 or 7. So then it's like other people who get pulled in to make that team. So for me, I think definitely a smaller team would make sense. I like the idea what one of the participants answered that there could be multiple teams. Like if you, rather than saying, like, let's say you have a small team, let's say 4 players, that way everyone can participate, every country can participate. But if you're the US or Germany or Finland, you could have like team 1, 2, 3, and that way you're still only having that team of 4, but you're giving more people a chance to puzzle and making it more inclusive. So yeah, what about you, Fuji? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes.
Hi, Thorsten.
Sorry. Yes. I also have just so many ideas that the way that I could imagine a World Cup, like it also depends on like how serious we want it to be, whether we want it to be like a professional World Cup or like the fun World Cup that we very often have now. Because if we want to go like professional, then there would have to be like qualifications and I guess like a whole licensing system for people to be in leagues, and like that would be a huge thing. But if we go with the fun direction, there could like it's limitless. I could imagine a team relay, like a country team relay, as in like it doesn't even have to be like a lot of like very few people. It could be like 4 people take turns, and like
you just keep bouncing between people, and then like one team starts, and then 5 minutes later another team has to jump in, and like there's so many ways that I can imagine this.
Yeah, well, that's cool. We'll hear a few more thoughts from our puzzlers during the live stream, and it looks like we're ready to unwrap. So we do have some extra special instructions. So yes, greetings to those who are joining us on YouTube as well, and good luck to everyone, especially those who are participating for the first time. Okay, so now is the time to unwrap your puzzle, everybody. Now, some of you may have been a bit confused. That is a different brand because it looks like exactly the same box size as our puzzles. That is correct. It is actually made from the same manufacturer. The piece cut is the same, so it will feel very familiar, but you'll see that there's a different design there and a different brand on there, which we will find out about very soon. There are 2 stickers on there, so please go ahead and slice the stickers.
This is very appropriate wrapping paper, Michelle, for this image.
Oh, with the boats.
I never realized that. It's very true.
Sometimes we match them for a certain mood. So there is a poster inside. If you want to use the poster, you can take that out. The poster is actually smaller than the box. So yeah, you can also just use the box that has a larger version of the image. So we have already had so about 100 people do this in flex mode already, and something was brought to my attention that I forgot about because I did this puzzle 4 months ago, and I forgot that there is actually a cloth bag. There's actually not a plastic bag. So some people were really struggling with untying this knot. So you may go ahead and untie the knot. So just like loosen it like that, and then place the bag and the pieces back into the box. For those who have done it in Flex, we are going to go back and check. I did tell everybody that at the video call last night, but if you submitted a video, we're going to go and check every video. We have received some messages of people struggling with their knots, and we have seen some people on the videos struggling with their knots. So we're going to actually deduct that time from that. So I should have noted that down and told everyone in advance before you do the flex, so that time will not be counted if you were having problems to open that. So pieces, bag should be loosely open, placed inside the box, and the lid is back on the box, ready to go. Okay, let's do a countdown in 5. Oh, hang on, now it goes from 7 seconds. How did that happen? 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off with a new edition of the Euro Jigsaw Jam. 150, right? I think so. I think it was 150.
Is this the 150th EJJ? That's so exciting.
Yes. So we have
Fruji, I don't have the image, so so you can show your box if you have it there. Let's have
I am showing my image. It was right here in front of my hands. So we've got a very, very nice puzzle from Oleo, which is a French brand. Michelle was already saying that it is manufactured at the same time. And someone was saying that the timer is not going and people have already started. And also, as I'm looking at the timer, it's also not working here. So it was never started, but now it's on. So yes, Oleo, a French brand. And they also always work with, I think, French illustrators or Belgium. This time, this was designed in Belgium. So it is actually a Belgian brand, not French. I'm so sorry. So back to the puzzle. There's very clearly defined sections. We've got a huge sky. We've got a castle. We've got water with some boats in there. And some pots, as in like I was calling this a Moroccan market, as in like those pots are over there, and then pomegranates in the front. And the whole puzzle is very, very well sortable. That's, I think, one thing that everyone is going to notice very, very early on. And it's very different to how people are going to be approaching, most likely, this bottom half. And from what I have heard from the Flex meeting is that pretty much everyone finished on the sky. That's so far everything that I have heard. I think, Hannah, you have only gotten a picture of this right before the meeting. What do you think? How would you approach this?
If I got this in a competition, I mean, my first thought when I saw it like 5 minutes ago was, oh my gosh, that sky looks terrifying. And there are a few things in there that can help you, like the birds, and there's like a little sun in the corner, so you can sort of, and maybe 1 or 2 clouds, but it is a quite intimidating. I'm not shocked that most people in the Flex meeting yesterday finished on the sky, because that's probably how I would do too. But I agree, Fruji, it's very sortable, like definitely as an image. I think it might be a little intimidating to some folks because of all the blue. But I do think if you look at pieces closely, you'll be able to sort of separate out like what's the sky and what's the water and what's the boats. But I would be really, really surprised if we saw anyone finish anywhere besides the sky.
Yes. I do think, I'm not sure if I can speak for everyone. I did this in the Flex meeting yesterday. And to be honest, I think the whole puzzle is less intimidating than what it looks like. So even the sky, and I'm really not a sky person, was not as bad. So as soon as I have got all the birds done and the one cloud that is on the top left, and there are also some like, well, not bubbles, but like, you know, when the light kind of shines through on a picture, these little circles, those help. And then once you also have the castle, which has some like, edges that are pointing into the sky. Once you have all those done, there's not that much sky left. So you can kind of fill in the gaps. And other than that, like, there's a lot of small details that you can like kind of grab onto. I might not spoil too much because there's people who are listening to the stream and puzzling, but there's a lot of details that you can watch out for. And we have also got already a couple of people on screen that have joined us today. And we're starting from R today. So we've got Rachel Chambers from the UK, Rika. I need to get a grab of my list here. So Rika Jonassen from Denmark. Then we have Robert from Sweden. Then we've got Rose from the US, Sanna from Finland, and Safira from the Netherlands. And so far, we're basically seeing just a lot of sorting and flipping from everyone. There are some people who are grabbing for the edge immediately, including Rachel on the top left. But I can also see some people who are going for a pretty thorough sort. I can also tell you that when I started this puzzle, I also went for the edge very early on, but I skipped the entire sky edge and just did the bottom so that I can fill everything in.
Yep. I can see that too. I was wondering if people would do the edge first, because I think some parts of it would be okay, but yeah, that sky edge would be really intimidating for me to do. So everyone looks like it's done with the flip. It looks like Santa is doing the edge and starting with those reds, those pomegranates down at the bottom, which I think we'll see a lot of people doing different parts at the bottom. The reds in the pomegranates are so nice because they do stand out so much from the blues. So they'll definitely be easy to pull. There's a lot of repetition in this puzzle. Sometimes it's not very much repetition, but like the pomegranates are recurring, the boats are recurring, the bricks in the castle. So it might be easily sortable, but kind of a difficult actual picture to start putting together just by looking at the box. Those pots are going to be a big help for sure. Fruji, I think you're muted for me.
Yes, so I was muted. And so yes, there are a lot of repetitive elements, but also you are going to see a lot of teeny tiny differences between the repeating elements. So even with the pomegranates, you've got a different shape or a different size, or there's actually not that many of them. So I would say that that's maybe like 20 pieces maximum in the bottom. Same with the pots, it's actually way less. So it's all like divided into like very different segments, and you can really go from bottom to the top.
We have an update on the timer. The timer started 54 seconds late. So all the times that we'll see, we'll just add 54 seconds to, and then we'll get an idea of what folks' actual times were.
Awesome. Very good to know. And you can now see that I'm looking at the live stream on my phone. Sorry about that. So we've got Shaka from the Czech Republic, and we have Saskia from Germany. Then we have Sergio from Spain, Silke from Germany, Sophie from the United Kingdom, and Steffi from Germany.
A lot of folks tackling that edge first. And again, with the most distinct sections first. So if anyone, I think, finishes the edge, they'll finish on the sky. It will actually be very interesting in a few minutes to see how many people do what you did, Fruji, which was start with the edge but not do the sky. And how many people will brute force it and get through the edge to try and get that sky and that whole frame in place, because this is a vertical image. So we will have some folks having to maybe do some space management with puzzles that they don't normally have to do with the landscape ones. But it does seem like, at least on the screen right now, we have a lot of folks who are deciding that edge is a good place to start.
Yes, I very much agree. And we are switching screens already. But in the meantime, there were some questions in the flags, in the YouTube chat. And the fastest time in the Flex meeting was 29:53 by Jagoda from Poland. And the Flex meeting yesterday, I think the fastest time was somewhere around 35 minutes, which was by Teresa. And my time was, I think, 43:20. So I was also pretty close to 40, which is very good. I was very happy. So well yes, that's basically the times that we have so far. So this is also going to be a faster puzzle than you would expect.
I was going to say, I cannot believe somebody broke 30 minutes on that with that sky, but that really, I think, speaks to what you were saying, is that the sky is maybe not quite as scary as it looks on the initial glance, or if you look closely, that there will be clues that you can use to sort of help narrow down the pieces that you pull and where those go.
Also, if you're good at gradients, you're going to have a field day with this. So if you can really detect those color differences, it really goes through the entire sky. So from the top left to the bottom right, based on the shade, you can really tell where the piece goes.
I was wondering how much of a gradient there was. It's a little hard to tell on the box itself, and sometimes the gradient on the box doesn't always translate to the gradient on the pieces, but that's good to hear that it is legible on the pieces too. And if you're a gradient puzzler, then that's great news to hear, for sure.
Yes. I also got some info from Michelle. So her time on this puzzle was 50 minutes and 34 seconds. And because of the whole fabric bag thing, because this puzzle has a fabric bag, there were people who were struggling with the knot that is on this. So that is going to be like kind of a struggle time that is going to be taken off from everyone's time. So that's okay. Don't worry about that one.
It looks like we've got some new folks on screen, if we want to introduce them as well.
Yes, we've got Tammy from the US. We've got Tanita from Romania. Then we have Veronica from Germany, Wiebke from Germany, and Wies from the Netherlands, and Shomara from Spain. Or Shomara, I think. I think an X is pronounced as an H in Spanish. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry about that.
A few folks on here still working on just the edge, but we've got quite a few. So Tammy, Tanita, and Veronica all tackling those reds first. So they've done the bottommost edge, and then they've also started to build up from that into the pomegranates itself. And they've done that basically within the first 11 minutes. They all have what seems to be all of the pomegranates done and are starting to transition into the next section of that puzzle, whatever that looks like for them.
Yeah, that seems like a really good strategy here as well. It's also basically like a gradient for the entire puzzle, if you know what I mean, that you start from like the dark and go towards the sky. The whole puzzle was really a joy. Like I think this is a really, really nice image. It's a good speed puzzling time, and SJ is guessing 31:22 for tonight's first finisher, which might be very close to my guess as well. I might actually think that someone will still get a sub 30 on this one.
I think I'm also on the sub 30 train. I could see a 29. Let's go 29.40 flat. That's my guess.
Okay, that sounds good. Then you know what? I'll go with 28.35.
Ooh, I like it. That's at 29 time.
Yes.
I like it.
We're going to have to see if people actually make that come through. But
You have to make it.
we
You have to
also
make
have
Fuji look
some.
good.
We've also got some new puzzlers on screen, and we have Zoe from Spain. Then we're jumping to the beginning of the alphabet, and I'm also scrolling my list here. We've got Alexandra from Switzerland. Then we have Anna from Slovenia. Then Andres from Colombia and Anna from Poland. Oh, no, actually not Anna yet. There she is. And Anne from Germany. I got lost track.
We have our first person who is starting on the sky. I can't believe it. Anna from Slovenia, I believe, has done the top
Ooh.
edge and has sorted everything out into piles. So you can see there's a red pile, there's a sky pile, there's an orangish, bluish, which are probably the boats in the pots pile. And she is just going to town, really like from top down, very, very methodically going through that sky with the gradient. A fascinating choice to do that first, but she will finish that puzzle so much faster once she gets through that sky part, and it can really just break down almost mini puzzles and all the other sections that are so easily like sortable. And she's already got the sorting done, and we're not even past 14 minutes. So really a great start for her.
Yeah, it's looking incredible here with everyone. I really like that very thorough sort. It looks incredible as well. And it's always good to like, root a little bit for the underdog who goes like a completely different way than everybody else.
I'm a big fan of a sort beforehand. And also, depending on whether you sort or not, it can help with the flip too. If you don't do the flip at the beginning and you just completely sort from the get-go, you don't necessarily have to flip. Although that is a big change in strategy for some folks.
Yeah, that now if I'm thinking about it, of how I would ever do that, I have never done something like that. And if I think about it, like, oh my God, I don't know how I would actually make that happen.
It's very stressful. I've been trying to do that myself, but it is an interesting way to puzzle, a fun and different way.
Oh, yes. And we do actually have a message from the creators of this puzzle, who were obviously invited to give an interview and like for us to chat a little bit with them about the picture and about the brand itself. But they can't join, unfortunately. And about that, they have like a little message. So I'm just going to read that out. As anticipated, Charlotte is about to give birth to our little boy. So therefore, we unfortunately won't be able to join the live this evening or give an interview. We are very sorry about this. And if we ever get the chance to do it in the future, then we would very, very happy to do that. Because we would be more than happy to meet your community. Enjoy the evening and good speed puzzling. And warmest regards from Maxime and Charlotte. So yes, that's why they can't join tonight. So we're sending many, 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 many nice thoughts for the little boy who is about to arrive.
Yeah, for all the reasons to miss an interview on an EJJ, I'd say that's a pretty good one.
Yes,
about definitely. To have a baby. So hopefully everything goes well, and thank them for their contribution to this EJJ, and we're excited to do this puzzle and commentate on it.
Yes. And we have some new people on screen who are Anne from Finland, Annika from Denmark, then we have Arya from Indonesia, then we have Aileen from Argentina, then we have Bibi from Denmark, and Birgit from Germany. I also like Birgit's way of using trays every time she's puzzling in an EJJ. She's always like a very methodical puzzler in that sense, that you always have like an array of trays all around. And with a puzzle sortable like this, it's also very useful to have trays.
Absolutely. And that's such a skill in and of itself. If you're trying to use trays and you've never done them before, it can be really disorienting to how you're used to puzzling. So somebody who's comfortable with trays and can use them well, it's a huge way to improve your space management, especially for, like you said, on a puzzle like this, that it is so sortable. This is a perfect puzzle to try and practice using trays on if you've never done it before.
I can only recommend using trays because like I never used trays up until a certain point, and then I started using them because I got a couple of trays from a friend, and since I there's no turning back, I can't stop anymore. So like now if I don't have any, then I'm kind of also useless. So it's just so extremely helpful sometimes to just have like that piece of thing, if for nothing else, then to put it on top of like the finished puzzle, which I actually had to learn to trust that I have placed the tray on it, so I really don't have to pay attention to it. Because in the beginning, I kept checking underneath the tray as like taking extra time to just look again to make sure. But I can only recommend trying trays at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I want to get a little tray as an emotional support tray so I can deposit pieces that I don't know where they go on there and just have them so I don't keep grabbing the same piece over and over again and trying to slam it into the same place that I've already tried 10 times.
Yeah, I also know that very well. That's puzzle jail for me. So that's what I call that at least.
Yes.
So we're moving on with our competitors for tonight. We've got Cameron from Canada, then Karina from Norway, Carlos from, is that Carlos? Yes, Carlos from Spain, then Caroline from Germany, Catherine from the United States, and Kian from Ireland.
We are approaching, or we've just passed the 18-minute mark, adding the 54 seconds onto our clock. And so we are looking for people, if we're still getting that under 30 prediction that we had earlier, maybe some folks who are halfway or a little over halfway done with their puzzle. We're definitely seeing, I think, for the majority of folks working on that bottom, we're seeing a lot of the pomegranates done, a lot of the pots done, and now sort of filling in the gaps of where the boats are on the island and maybe the tops of the pomegranates.
I lost track a little bit. I was trying to look through more competitors to see who is most ahead. Can you repeat that?
Yes. So I was just talking about how some folks seem to be mostly focusing on the bottom. I've not found anyone else who's doing the sky yet, sort of focusing on the pomegranates, focusing on the boats, and then filling in some of the gaps in between there. And how, if we're looking for a sub 30 finisher, we're probably trying to find somebody who's got about half of the puzzle or more than half the puzzle, since we just passed the 18-minute mark. And now we're slowly creeping up to the 20-minute mark now.
Yes. So we're getting closer and closer to my prediction. So hurry up, folks.
We need somebody to hit that 28, that sub 29 mark.
Yes. Let's strive for that. It's also, I think, one of the reasons that it's very much drawing everyone to start with the pomegranate is that it stands out so extremely from the rest of the puzzle. Because I think that's the only one that is like this deep brown and deep red, and everything else has either this bluish hue or this brownish color, which is the castle and the pots. So the pomegranates just stand out so very much. And those two tunnels that the wall has in it. So there's these two dark holes in there that also stood out very much, that you basically pull out along with the entire table and pomegranates because they are basically the same color. So that's also like a very good start for the castle as well. So you can basically starburst out of those as well, which I have seen on a couple of tables that those are actually already there.
I honestly didn't even think about that, but you're right. That is like a very easy, if you're already pulling the reds out for those pomegranates, those little underpasses are going to come out too. And they're so small, they must only be a few pieces each. So very easy to put together and just sort of set there as like a guidepost for where you're going to be start to build the castle in along it.
Exactly. And then I think like the larger one is maybe about 5 pieces. Maybe the smaller one is like 3 or 4. If you count like those little tiny corners that like just really just peek into the piece. Yeah, so those are also very, very good reference points. We have, again, new people on screen, and I'm going to have to take a closer look again. So we have Chiara from Ireland. Then we have Kieran from Ireland as well. Then Christina from Spain. Then Christina from Spain as well. Ah, there she is. Okay, I have her in my list as well. Then David from Spain, then Disdain from Germany, and there was a baby peeping into the
Hello.
image.
Wow, what helper.
Oh,
Oh, so sweet.
that was very, very sweet.
Oh, we'll have to ask Kieran afterwards who that was.
And Kieran has also answered our question for today. And
Yes.
his idea was that maybe about 8 puzzlers per country. You could have head-to-head solo rounds with different styles, with each person's time counted in a table, then move into knockout rounds. You would have to qualify based on some objective criteria, like a qualifying competition.
Yeah, I think honestly the biggest question with the World Cup of puzzling is the numbers, because we really do have like a wide range of countries with lots of puzzlers and countries with not very many puzzlers. So figuring out like whether you have 4 people to create a team, or you have multiple numbers of teams, or you have 8 people or 10 people, and maybe there are some alternates. I think for the smaller countries, maybe going with the smaller team size might be the way to go.
Also, like
Oh, and
I'm not someone who is very good with maths or anything like that. Like my idea would be to work out a system where you can have like the huge countries that have like 300 puzzlers entered at a competition, and also the ones that have like 5 to somehow be able to compete with each other.
yes.
But I'm not sure how that would be mathematically possible. I would need someone more mathematically gifted than me to come up with that. But that's all that's basically what I keep thinking about, that there are countries that are just huge, and there are some that have barely any puzzlers. So
Mhm.
like Michelle was saying, that it's like really difficult to scrape together a 10-person team. That's a problem that somehow needs to be figured out, I think.
Yeah, I do like your idea of having countries allowed to bring multiple teams of 4. So bigger countries could bring multiple teams if they wanted to bring multiple teams, but a smaller country doesn't have to have multiple teams and is not penalized for having only one team. It's still ranked on based on how you finish. So it looks like we're getting close. We have some folks on screen. I see Kristen looking like she's starting to finish that sky, getting very close. Who else do
Oh
we have
yeah,
on screen, Fruji?
we have our front runners on screen right now. So we've got Inga from the Netherlands, then we have Kristen from Norway, then we have Lenka from Slovakia, Martje from the Netherlands, Mari from the US, and Olivia from Poland. And pretty much all of them are done with the bottom, and some of them are more done with the sky than others. Basically, that's how
Yes.
I can summarize it. So I really like how at Olivia you have the entire frame of the castle itself, and then nothing else inside or outside of it yet, but you have the entire frame. And that's actually also showing that on the pieces you can see the sides of the castle very, very well. I'm not sure if that was on purpose when designing this puzzle, but with each of those lines, it's in the middle of pieces, so you can sort them out very, very well.
Yeah, Olivia's puzzle right now is a huge, like a perfect example of how much of this puzzle is going to be shape work. And that might end up being part of the reason why it is such a fast puzzle. The bottom comes together really quickly. And even though the top part can be a little tricky, if you're really good at identifying pieces, especially because while it is a different brand, it is the same cut as the speed puzzling, or the EJJs already are. So if you've done a lot of those puzzles, you're familiar with that cut. So even though it's a different brand, you have a little bit of an advantage in that way. It really just comes down to shape work, and it's not a random cut puzzle, so that helps too. And actually, looking at Kristen, she is working in the sky, but she also has a lot of that castle that she still has to put together too. So we have a lot of folks coming down. I do think it still looks like Kristen has the edge, but putting together the rest of that castle will take a little bit of time too.
Yes, as I was looking at like the small screen, I thought that she already had the castle finished, but now that I'm looking at it more closely, there's actually a lot of the castle pieces still missing, but she does have like one side of the sky already done. While with Inga, for example, you have the entire castle already done and she only has the sky left. And now the question is how good she is with gradients compared to Mari, for example, who is exactly at the same stage. She has everything done in her puzzle as well. And she's just working on the sky. And you can already see that she has been doing some dead reckoning over there with the birds, because I think that those pieces that are lying around are all bird pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she knows exactly where theirs are going to go, so she can get them out of her space and exactly where they need to go in the puzzle. It gives her a little bit of a small clue, and she's just connecting some pieces to one of those dead reckoning places. So it helps her get an idea of what kinds of pieces will maybe connect those birds, and so she can start doing some sunbursting. Oh, she's just put together a line so quickly. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This really is going to come together.
That's the cloud, and that's actually a very good tip for anyone who is generally not that good with gradients. Once they get to the sky section on this puzzle, is to try and do that cloud, because that cloud actually eats up like 10, 15 pieces, maybe a little bit less, somewhere around 10. And those go in fast because it's also just a line that grows across a number of pieces. And then all of a sudden you have an entire island that you can fill in again and just like go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is, I think, and then it can be a jumping off point too. If you get that cloud in, then you can build up or you can build down, just because you have now a line of pieces where you can start using some shape work to identify where that goes in.
Then on screen, we've got Rachel and Anna on in our view as well. And what makes them interesting at this point is that they both have the sky done already. So they might actually be way quicker now than what it might look like. So they might have been slower until now because they're working on that gradient at first. And now they're accelerating into the rest of the puzzle, which is, much more recognizable maybe. We're going to be seeing that. And I think, unless someone really speeds up right now, I think my estimate was a little bit too ambitious, but yours might still work.
I'm not sure because we have to add 54 seconds. So I think I've got about 40 seconds before my time speeds past us because we've got to add a little bit of extra time.
But the thing is, Marta might be very close to finishing there. So we might actually see a finisher in a couple of seconds. I can't exactly tell because on the small screens, like a part of her screen is just cut off, exactly the part where she's working on the puzzle. So I can't exactly tell how much she has left.
She's maybe got 30 to 35 pieces left. Kristen's maybe got 30. I think Kristen has a little less. I also just noticed Rachel Chambers, who's not on our screen right now, also was somebody who started on the sky. So she has that sky done, and now she's working on the bottom half of the puzzle there too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looks like Kristen, it looks like Marcia, Mari,
and Inga.
And Inga, yes. All
and
closing in
Lenka's
on
also
that
speeding
sky.
up very much.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to shape work with here, and it comes down to a little bit of luck, but also how much can you close in your puzzle so that every time you pick up a piece, you're able to place it in just based on where the little clues are outside of it. And with Kristen, I think she's got a lot of those. She doesn't have a big open block where you don't know where anything is. She has a lot of small sections, so she can pick up a piece and go, okay, I can almost certainly place this in the puzzle. As long as I figure out where this piece connects to.
Definitely. It's
and
also
Marcia does as well.
So mesmerizing to watch how Kristen is puzzling these last few pieces, as in like she's so accurate. Like whenever she picks up a piece, that is going to be placed. And what's really helping her is that she only has like smaller gaps of like 1 or maximum 2-3 pieces. And so she's filling in those gaps, and that's speeding her up very much. She has maybe about 10 pieces left.
It's going to be really close between Kristen and Marcia. Hold on, I need to pull that up on my screen.
I'm also going to like head over to the finished section because also we have Kristen done.
Yay, good job, Kristen. Well done.
Just when I looked at the ranking, that's when her name popped up. And we've got Kristen finished. So our first finisher is Kristen today. Amazing job done. And Mart is pulling in for the last couple of pieces as well, with Mari and Inga very close in her heels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It looks like Mart might be missing a piece.
Oh, no.
But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, hard to see.
There it is.
Marcia done.
And Marcia
looking for a missing piece.
Yes, Marcia done. second place.
Well done.
30-16. And we did have a sub, and not exactly. It was 50 seconds later, right? That the
Right.
the that the timer was started. So it's a little bit over 29:30. I'm not exactly sure. It might be 30:30.
So subtract 6, so add a minute and subtract 6 seconds. So it'll be 30:24 will be Kristen's finishing time. And March's will be 31:10. So not quite a sub 30, but very close.
But very, very close. Amazing puzzling there, people.
Well done, well done.
And we've got some new people also pulling in for the last couple of pieces. We have Inge, we have Rachel, we have Caroline from Germany. An extra shout out goes out to her because we puzzle in a team together very often.
Go, go, go. That's so exciting. Looks like Mari is maybe 10 pieces away from finishing right now. And so is Inge. Extremely close between the two of them. I think Mari's going to have the edge. She's got maybe 4 pieces left to put in.
She has the advantage that she only has individual pieces missing.
Mm-hmm.
So there with this puzzle, I think that helps a lot. And it seems like she also has a couple of pieces missing, which are most likely stuck in the bag. It's actually very difficult to get the pieces out of the fabric bag. So that is a challenge. But Mari is done on 3rd place with, I'm going to go by timer. There's no way I'm doing the math. It's 31:47 according to the timer site. So yes, the pieces get stuck in the cloth bag very, very easily. So take a look at that.
Yeah, Mari had it look like 3 things in the bag. Yeah, an unexpected sort of additional hurdle that you have to do with this new brand. It's a beautiful cloth bag, but it is definitely different than the plastic, where you have to be really sure, almost have to turn it inside out to make sure that you have all of the pieces knocked out of there. Yeah.
Yes, so
Inge
Marta is saying
finished.
she's missing a piece, but Inge is done as well. So 4th place for Inge in the live meeting.
Excellent, excellent. So we've got everyone right now is still sub 35. We've probably got 30 more seconds at this point for anybody to finish and still get another sub 35. We've had 4 right now.
We've got some insane times here.
It's so much faster than I thought it would be. But the more I look at that sky, the more I'm like, actually, it's maybe not quite as scary as it first looked like, between the gradient and the birds and the sun and the cloud and the castle that juts up that gives you sort of like it closes off 2 sides of the lower half to help you with the shape work early. I'm not saying it's easy, but I do think it's a little less intimidating than I initially thought at first.
That's exactly what I meant in the beginning, that there's just so many little things that you can latch onto, so you don't have to go by the gradient, which helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm also going through our list now to try and see.
Got Olivia on screen almost done. We've got Carolyn closing in, mostly looking like she's got the sky. Rachel Chambers flying through that bottom. I think probably will finish in the castle since she finished the sky.
Most likely, yes.
Lenka finishing up on the lighter side of the sky. Veronica wrapping up on the sky. Looks like Olivia is done.
Olivia is done. We do have Olivia on place 5 in the meeting. So 33:47 according to the timer site.
Mm-hmm. So also, yeah, still under 35 minutes. I could not do math. I was so confident I could do math on the fly and I could not.
Yes.
But that's great. A great time.
It's incredible times here that everyone is producing. Also in the chat, there's a little discussion going on about the fabric bag, which I'm a huge fan of, I must say, that it's not a plastic bag and it's reusable, but it has the big downside that the pieces really do get stuck in it very, very easily. So that's something that I was struggling with as well.
Yeah, but it does look so nice.
It does look amazing, right?
SJ says, as an anti-sky puzzler, this image is making me itchy. Haha.
I'm also a big anti-sky person, and I must say I was a very big fan of the whole puzzle. So it's a nice sky compared to like the skies that you get everywhere else.
A friendly sky for all our anti-sky puzzlers.
Yes, this
First-
might be one of those puzzles that makes you like skies in the end.
Brittany, when you were doing this, did you feel like you were doing an EJJ branded puzzle, like texturally and with the cut? Did it feel like it was an EJJ? Yeah.
Yes. It's done at the same printer, so it's really pretty much the same texture, the same finish, which is an extremely good quality. But like now, recently I have been puzzling so much of this because it's the EJJ brand, also now this one. And I do a lot of Pannon puzzles, which is a Hungarian brand, and they also get their puzzles done in this place. And so they have the exact same finish as well. So I'm getting very used to it by now, and it all feels like the same brand a little bit to
Very
me.
familiar. That's nice, though. It is nice for folks who have done EJJs before. It's a nice like little boost that they can get. Just something that feels a little familiar, even though it's a new brand.
And while we were talking, we actually have a wave of finishers. So we have Lenka on place 6, Sharka on place 7, then Jatta place 8, and 9 Line Beate from Norway.
We're still missing. We have one spot left in the top 10, and then we will have had our top 10 finishers. We're still under the 40-minute mark. So really, I think we will have our top 10 under 40, which is really impressive. This is a pretty speedy puzzle, things considered. Again,
It
very
is a very,
sortable.
very speedy one, yes.
Basically a bunch of small puzzles between the castle and the boats, the pots, the pomegranates in the sky.
Yes. It's a very, very nice image. I think it's a very speed puzzler friendly image. I think and everyone can be very, very happy about it. And also, I'm not sure if it has been pointed out today already, but it's also an unreleased puzzle. So this image has not been available until now for Oleo. So this was its premiere. So I think it will go on sale from now on. I'm not entirely sure, but you're definitely going to be able to get it on the Speed Puzzle EU website to try yourself with this puzzle.
Yeah, which is so exciting that Euro Jigsaw Jams has been able to work with other brands to get an unreleased image for the competition. It's always nice to have something like that. I love the EJJ artist that's done by the artworks, or by the artists in the community. But it's also so exciting to see a brand work with them and have that in the competition.
And we have our sub 40 top 10 because Rachel Chambers has pulled into place 10 in the live meeting, and that is with a time of 37:55 according to the timer site, plus 54 seconds.
So about 38:01 is what I think that time would be.
Something like that. Will we get a
No.
top 15 under 40 is the question. Do we have a lot of people pulling in right now?
I think we're starting to get some folks. I think we're going to start getting some waves. We have a lot of folks finishing up on the castle and the sky. Elwyn finishing up on the castle, it looks like.
Yes, Eileen finished on the castle. Very nice. And then we have Jasmine from the United States, who also finished right now.
Yes, well done, Jasmine. Great job.
Yes, but go Eileen. Competitor from Belgium, who is also very, very successful puzzler in Belgium. She has been doing very well at their nationals as well. So a great job there. And we are over 40 minutes now.
I wonder if Eileen has done a puzzle with this brand before, since this is a Belgium artist with a Belgium brand. So maybe something that she's familiar with.
Could be. Could very well be. As far as I know, Oleo Puzzles has also been pretty popular in France, definitely, but I think also Belgium, Netherlands, even in Germany, there have been a lot of them. So people might have been familiar with the brand already, but I think those that are regular EJJ participants already know the piece cut a little bit, so it helps a lot. Yeah. I'm not sure how many people have some pieces already memorized of where they go in the puzzle, because there are some extremely recognizable ones. Like there's one piece, I can tell that I have one piece that I have memorized where it is in the puzzle. I can like dead reckon it compared to the frame, and that is one that has like a very big knob, and it's like a very, very circular one. There's the one, and there's another one which is like very diamond shaped. Those are the two that I know very well.
We need somebody to do a ranking of their top EJJ puzzle cut pieces. What's the best shape?
And we didn't get a top 15 sub 40, but we have our top 15. So top 16 now. So people are just rolling in now. We have Jasmine from the US, then Inga, then Veronica from Germany, then Freya from Sweden, then Irene from Spain, and Carlos from Spain as well. So we're still in the low 40s.
Yeah, still incredibly fast for, even though not everyone at the top 15 got a sub 40, I would say that's a really, very speedy time for sure for everybody. So well done. It's a tough puzzle to finish on, where you have to sort of brute force shape work the end, depending on how you do this puzzle. Oh, but actually, I do still have Anna pulled up, our first person who did not start on the lower part, started with the sky, and she has the castle that she's working on now, and might finish on the pomegranates, depending on how frustrated she gets with this castle. We'll see if she bounces over. But those are the two sections she has left to do, is the castle and the pomegranates.
Yes. And as far as I know, we have Mari still in the chat, or still here in the meeting. So we could have a little chat if Mari is there and available. We're going to give her a little bit of time to get to her laptop if she's around.
Yeah. Mari, if you can hear us, you can unmute yourself and hop on and we can chat.
Hello, friends.
Hi, Mari.
How's it going?
Good.
Great. How are you?
I'm great. What fun was that? Holy moly. Good puzzle.
How did you tackle this one, Mari?
It was just tuning. I don't listen to the commentary while I'm puzzling, but after I finish, I try to catch up on things. You were talking about, Hannah, it being like many small puzzles. That's how I did it. Small targeted pulls, my favorite way to puzzle. Yeah. I went border, and then the pomegranates are so nice, that dark bottom. Actually, I think I might have even done dark brown before I went for open pomegranates. But to me, this puzzle was all about really breaking things down into very, very small groups, so you can grab the pieces and just put it in, and not spend a lot of time figuring out what's what. I did do a little bit of that in the middle to my own chagrin, but pushed through it pretty quickly. And it was just really fun to figure out. There's so many lovely details to latch onto. In the castle wall, the lines where the shadows go, and then there are those border lines around the outline of the tower. So when you break those down, there's so much to follow, and what looks like big sections are actually really, really chunkable.
For sure.
That is definitely true.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite detail?
Favorite detail? I don't know. I really love the pigeons. They look so dopey. I had a lot of fun with the dopey pigeons, and I was sad when they were done, and they were done way too soon.
Yeah, so what Mari means is these pigeons, which I think were not that visible when I was showing the picture, but they are sitting behind the drinks.
Yeah.
And they do look very dopey. They're really
so dopey. One of the things that I started doing in my puzzling in the last few months is counting things. Amazing how useful that is. So like when I get that split second look at the image, I'm like, okay, boats, row 3, row 1, 4 big pots, 2 blue pots, 4 birds in the light, 4 birds in the dark, 3 things like that. So one of the first things I counted with the pigeons. I'm like, 3 pigeons. Oh, dopey pigeons! Like my brain double took because they were so funny and cute. So compliments to the artist. This is a treat.
I love that. How easy was it for you to see the different kinds of blues in this image?
A lot easier than I thought it was going to be. People who know me know that I'm not really a gradient person, particularly when it's a slow moving gradient like this one. It's slow moving, but the saturation on the colors are so rich when I was pulling, I tried to pull one stripe at a time from the light over. And until I hit the middle, where the middle of the gradient is where it always flattens out, right? But until I hit the middle, I was within a row of accuracy on the pull. And that's not me. That's the color image. Like, I don't do that usually. So yeah, it was really surprisingly discernible.
Mm-hmm. We were also noticing it looked like you were picking and placing the birds in the sky before you were actually doing the rest of the skies. Was that how you were approaching that?
Yeah. And anyone who's not a super slow moving gradient person can attest to this. You put in every solid block that you can. So every bird, there are a couple, they're probably almost impossible to see on the internet, but there are a couple like sun spots, like little slightly yellower circles. There's the cloud, there's the shading under the cloud. Took me a while to figure out what that was, but I was seeing a line. So I'm like, I'll just build the line and then it'll go where it goes. But I try to put in every block that I can so the gradient fill in is easier.
Mm-hmm. Had you done a puzzle with? Go ahead,
Go
Bridget.
ahead, Hannah.
Zoom's the worst, or whatever they do. Over distance.
I'm still thinking about what you said with counting things. How does that help you?
Because then I know when I go in to pull dopey pigeons, I know how many dopey pigeons I'm building. I don't have to figure out as I go. So yeah, a lot of counting objects has been a big breakthrough for me because I like doing pulls that are by object. And when there are multiple objects, if you pull the dark browns here that are the arches, it helps to know that there are two of them, because otherwise it's like, well, which curved line is this curved line? So I knew I had two bottoms and it's much more concrete. So I recommend it highly. It's one of those things that is so simple, you don't think of it. And then you think of it and you're like, why was I doing this all along?
That is one very good tip.
Is it difficult on a puzzle like this where there are so many items? So there's 3 pigeons and there's 5 boats in 3 different rows and pots and pomegranates and birds in the sky. You're able to keep track of those okay?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem that difficult. And like my brain categorizes the objects differently. So like I know there are 3 glasses of pomegranate juice. That's different from 4 birds in the light and 4 birds in the dark. So the other thing about counting is it checks if it's a good pull or not, because if the number is greater than 4, don't do it. At least that's my personal philosophy. That means that is a bad pull for right now, and you need to, box it in or do some discernment. It will come later. But 2s and 3s and 4s are very nice numbers.
I love that.
It's always the best number, but we don't always get ones. One son in this.
Yeah, I like that. It's sort of the same energy where if you know how many pieces are in the border, it helps you when you're pulling the border at the beginning. And if you know how many items there are, it might help you figure out approximately how many pieces of something there are so that when you're pulling, you have an idea of, oh, did I miss one or do I need to go back and pull? And then when you're actually looking at them, like you said, I know there's 2 bottoms for these little like underpasses and I can place them in that way.
Yeah, I find it's the most useful on the assembly because when I'm pulling, I'm just basing it on what I'm looking for, right? The color, the texture, whatever, the description that I've given myself, the search field. Yeah, the assembly, I find the count really helps, particularly in a puzzle like this that looks very busy until you're breaking it down. It also helps you focus on what are the mini puzzles within it, like you guys were saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like low tech but effective. I don't like the fancy strategies or multi-layered stuff because when you're adrenalized out of your mind, as we all are, that never works out very well.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, and really concrete is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now that there's a little bit of a break in our discussion, I'm going to add that while we were chatting, we're at our top 40 already. So there's 40 people done in under 50 minutes right now.
That's amazing. Go, guys!
Which is incredible. You guys are amazing.
Is this the moment where we start asking if we're going to clear the room? Because that would be awesome.
I think we could.
You appear in the chat because someone has said clear the room.
All right, that's good. That's good. We love a clear the room.
Yeah,
That's
that would be amazing. I think this is a good puzzle for that.
Yeah. Yeah, very
I
good.
hope so. I hope so. Yeah, we're at about the 52-minute mark right now, and we have just under half of our puzzlers who have finished, with now 42 folks who have finished. We have 43 people still puzzling. So I think it is very possible, for sure.
That
It is very, very possible.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes, folks still puzzling. The trick is don't get intimidated, especially by the sky. Chunk it down, count things.
Mhm.
Count things. Even though,
Count
like,
things.
There's not a lot to count in
birds.
the sky once you get the birds in, but you know, like one piece at a time and stay calm.
And I have just noticed that there's yeah, she's just very slightly visible in the stream, but in like the collective images of like the little tiles, we have Jody in the bottom actually puzzling outside, which is very, very nice.
Oh,
Which is
Mhm.
the good about summer, when you can actually puzzle outside, and it's so
Oh,
nice.
that's so nice. All that
Yeah.
natural light.
Oh yeah. That gradient must also be so nice in the natural light
Mhm.
outside. Yeah.
On a glass
Mari,
table.
how has summer been going for you, puzzling wise? I do know that you have been on the go a lot, but other than that, did you get any puzzling in recently?
No, I've got zero puzzling in because I think a lot of people know I'm a professional touring musician. I've been on tour for the past 4 weeks. I have not been home. I have not done laundry. I have not bought groceries. I have not slept in my own bed. And I always try to take puzzles with me, and I did have them in my suitcase as per usual, but it has been so nuts. I haven't done a single one until I just got back Sunday night at 2 a.m. And so I did a bunch yesterday, just kind of sprinting, but I think the break really was good for me because I was exhausted. I had overtrained, well, maybe not overtrained, but certainly a lot of trained for, US Nationals and then UK Nationals and the World Series all in a row, and EJJs and speedpuzzle.com in between. And so I could feel by the end of the World Series that my brain, it was beyond like take a nap kind of tired. I needed to step away from the table for a little bit and let my body like get all the like super tension out of it. So coming back, I feel much more relaxed and loose and like, oh wait, this fun thing that I haven't gotten to do for a while. The absence making the heart grow fonder and all that. So I had no idea what was going to happen today. Like I had been kind of stuck in the upper 30s at the end of the season and for my 500 time. And I came back and did a bunch yesterday and a couple today, and everything's landing 31, 32. I'm like, okay, for being out of shape, that's not too bad. I feel good. So that was really fun.
Well, I mean, I really do wonder if it is out of shape, quote unquote, because like I think taking a rest for some sports people, and this isn't always how we talk about it with like sports, but like it is part of training, because if you're just training and training and training and training, going and going, you get really tired, and it can slow you down mentally, physically. So like taking a break is like, I think, an important part, especially with like Mari, you were talking about, you did so many high intensity competitions so much in a row. That's all you were doing.
Yeah. And a lot of it was like, because I had the concussion all season from right after I got back from Spain last year. And so I think I spent the winter and the spring feeling like I wanted to make up for lost time, not necessarily for training purposes, but just because I really like puzzles and I really like going fast and I miss it when I'm not doing it. So like I knew I was overtired and I could have done something about it and I didn't. So, it's self-inflicted, and the enforced rest was good.
And on that note, do you actually count like downtime without speed puzzling, but doing casual puzzling as no training, or do you count it as training?
That's how I got away with doing too much in the winter. Because I have recently, as of September, discovered big counts. So I did the 32,000 Disney when I was fully concussed and couldn't speed at all. So that was my concussion break, was to do a 32,000 unassisted. And then I did a bunch of 2s and a bunch of 3s. I'm like, oh, it's a break. But I was still timing because I was curious. And Jim kept coming in. He's like, if you're timing, you're going to go fast. I'm like, but I'm just curious. He's like, no, you're not. You're crazy. And
I gotta side with Jim on this one. If you're timing it, you're gonna go fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I knew full well what I was doing. You know the thing where you know better and you like make an excuse that's like it's BS as it comes out of your mouth. Yeah, that one.
And so now Tour came along and said, "You will stop puzzling. We will make it so that you will only think about fiddling for these next couple weeks."
Pretty much, yeah. And it does prove that the puzzling exhaustion was about the puzzling part of my brain, because like the festivals that I've been at, I've been playing or teaching 19 and 20 hours a day with no days off, and traveling in between and sleeping on the floor of airports because of missed flights. And it's been grueling, but my body is ready for a nap, but my brain is like, oh, where does this piece go? As opposed to, I can't do one more. That's a good thing.
How did it feel when you sat back down to puzzle yesterday after taking such a long time off? Like mentally or physically, did you feel any different?
I felt fresh. I was feeling at the end of the whole run in the spring, I was feeling really heavy. Like every time, I remember so clearly starting day 2 of the World Series, especially when I got to Puzzle 5. I remember having my hands on the bag going, okay, one more. You can do one more, just one more. And like really, I'd never felt like that before about puzzling. So it was like, that's how I knew it's time to chill out. When it's not even open and you've got like this pit of dread in your stomach, not because you don't like the puzzle and not because you're nervous, just because you're so tired. So it's felt very light. Like I've had the kid at Christmas, like, oh, I wonder what's in this box, kind of, and all in that same excited, goofy voice. So that's been really nice.
While we were talking, again, I'm going to check back on our list of finishers, and we have 60 people done out of 85 at this point. So we have a top 60.
We have a top 60 and all under an hour.
All under an hour.
We're still under an hour with, maybe about a minute to go. So there still might be a couple of people who are going to finish under an hour, including Jenny, who has just finished, I think, as far as I have seen. Yes, there she is. So we've still got finishers rolling in, still under an hour. So just go, people.
Great job, everybody.
I love how clustered everything is. I'm just sitting here scrolling through the results and loving on you guys. There's 6 people in the 56-minute mark alone. That's crazy,
right?
Yeah,
love it.
It's definitely coming in waves for sure.
It also might be something for people to research of how these waves work of people finishing, because there really is in every single competition. There's a minute or two when nobody finishes, and then all of a sudden 30 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It would be so interesting to see everybody's scatter plots of not only where they finish, but how they put in pieces, and whether there's a big burst at the beginning or maybe at a certain time mark, or how that looks for people.
And one more thing for us to talk about, Mari, is how do you imagine a World Cup in puzzling? It doesn't have to be any of the regular formats. It can be any kind of World Cup, since it's World Cup time right now.
Yeah, I went to fill that question out 5 minutes before, again, the whole landing and in home, and I didn't have time to fill out the question ahead of time. So I went to do it 5 minutes before we logged on here and went, this is not a 5-minute question. I started thinking maybe that's something we shouldn't be doing, because nations are so different. And you guys were talking about a little bit about how many people we have, period, the end, let alone how many of those are puzzlers, what puzzles are available in the country, and there are just so many advantages baked in to being certain places in the world, which is not the case with soccer/football. All you need is a ball and a patch of grass, right? Anyone can play that, and there's not an anyone can do approach to puzzling, because there's a big barrier to entry with availability and money and all those sorts of things. But the more I think about it, like I love Frigid, you were saying like let's do a funsy World Cup, like rather than a crazy one. To do one that's fun. I could get behind that, and I think definitely that's a teams format. I'm not sure exactly what it looks like yet, but I think it's probably teams. And I liked the ideas floated earlier about it being smaller teams, but a country with tons and tons of puzzlers could have several teams.
Mm-hmm.
How we arrive at those teams, like I live in the US, which is like one of the deepest benches in the entire world. And the problem in the US, if we did a World Cup, wouldn't be the World Cup, it would be qualifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, at US Nationals, I had a great run until I like literally slept through the start of the final round. Story that's now infamous. I would have been out on the qualification round because of that. And so I don't like that somebody could not qualify because of doing something stupid that has nothing to do with that. Set your alarms, kids. But I think a funsy teams is the way to go. And I certainly don't want to be the one to work out the qualification scheme. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that answer. I can stand behind that. I like the funsy World Cup kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to have fun and have it be serious at the same time. Like I think fun plus serious is great because that allows the people, like we all care about going fast. We're never gonna just, show up and throw the competition, right? We like going fast. That's why we're speed puzzlers. Well, if we didn't like going fast, we'd be casual puzzlers. We'd be the normal people as opposed to the freaks. Right? But I also think it can get a little too serious to the point where you get cutthroat with yourself. And I know a lot of us, I think probably all of us have had like a life or death moment over a puzzle result where, you come off the floor and you're like crying and like legitimately upset. And then you just kind of like look at yourself and like, what am I doing? Like it's a game. Why is this so heavy? And I like events that encourage us to put down the heavy part, and like silly plus serious is where the fun is, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to keep the fun in something that's a competition. I do think there was a really good, I do think like teams or relays or maybe kinds of competitions that are unusual might help inject a little more whimsy into competitions like that for like a World Cup style. The Cobble Hill room at the UN Nationals this year was a lot of different kinds of competitions that were different and unique. And so it was like forcing you to meet new people and make up new teams on the fly, which was a great way to sort of keep it light. But I like your point, Mari, about how with different countries and puzzling, everyone has different brands that they have ease of access to. And that is like a big one, even still now at the World Championships. It's like, who can get access to what kind of puzzles? Are we doing a random cut? Are we doing a ribbon cut? Are we doing a brand that everyone has access to? Like how does that work? And that's a big part of puzzling.
Yeah, I think like money notwithstanding, if we went to World Cup, and quite frankly, I think this maybe should be at the World Championships. I don't know how we do it, but we're to the point where it's probably the case, and I say this as a lover of random cut. Man, if we went random cut, boy, would it be good for me. But I think for fairness across the world, it would need to be a grid cut, but I think it needs to be a custom die cut that nobody's seen before. We are to that point, kids.
Yes,
too many of us are memorizing too much stuff, and I'm somebody who's learning die cuts, like parts of them, because you have to at this point in the game if you want to have even a shot at being at the top of things. And if you're fast enough, of course you want to have that shot. I don't like memorizing die cuts. I'm a shape worker, gosh darn it. I like figuring shapes out. Don't make me do it ahead of time. That's not fun. So I would vote grudgingly ribbon cut, but custom die cut that nobody's seen.
Yes, I very much agree.
Yep.
Especially with more and more people talking about memorizing the shapes, which is in a way kind of sad as well to me, because it's also, I think it's more hyped up than what people make it out to be, because it's less help than what you would assume. But I think at the point where you're competing for like the top 10, that might be the skill that makes the difference between a first and a fifth.
It is.
Mhm.
I think it already is. We're there. We've been there a year. We just have only been talking about it half a year. And I also think it's sad. Like it's like when the Rubik's Cube went algorithmic, right? Like at that point, it's
Mhm.
not a Rubik's Cube. It's something different, right? And if you're memorizing the die cut, that's not really puzzling. It's something different, something new. It's cool, but it's its own thing.
Mhm.
And is it my thing? I don't think so. Right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't choose to do that.
Yeah, one of the things I was talking about earlier with the World Cup is it's so hard to think about what a World Cup of puzzling would look like because there are so many different kinds of puzzling competitions that you can do. You can do it teams, you can do a pair, you can do a relay. There's 100 different kinds of cuts. You can make it so that you have to switch puzzles every 5 minutes. You can make it so that you have to do the puzzle upside down or without a box or without anything. So like, how do we identify what is the skill that we specifically want to dial in? Because like there are different, do we want the most well-rounded puzzler? Do we want the best ribbon cut 500 piece Ravensburger puzzler? Do we want the best random cut puzzler? There's 100 different ways we could do it.
Yeah.
On that note, I would actually love seeing one round of a competition somewhere where you have like a completely blank color puzzle and you just have people do a regular Ravensburger piece shape. How many people can do like the piece cut?
Oh my gosh.
That is its own sport. My goodness. I will sit that round out. I could, I could do it. It's not rocket science. It's just hours of your life that you won't get back, folks. You don't get that time back. You really don't. And is it worth all those hours to do one round? So for some people, yeah. For me, no. I think small teams, like teams of four is a nice number. You can get a lot done with 4, and there's enough puzzling for each person. When the teams get big, too big for the puzzle, it gets really unruly. I was on the U.S. team for the Nations Challenge at the Spain competition last year, and that I felt it was 12 people on a 1500. That was too big. We couldn't get things done. It was so fragmented. We did everything we could to communicate, but yeah, it's too many hands for the puzzle. But I think if you were World Cupping it, all right, if we're really doing this, teams of 4, at least a couple of rounds have to be brand new die cut that nobody's seen, and that's probably the final round. But I think a World Series style thing where there are a few different challenges is a really good thing. Because to me, like what I think about when I think what is a puzzler, it's somebody who figures it out, right? We need challenges where you have to figure it out. And that can mean so many different things, but I think an unboxed round makes a lot of sense. If we're doing multiple rounds, one of them should be a random cut. It absolutely should, because you have to figure it out. And it should be a random cut that nobody's seen before. Would I love to see Cobble Hill? Yes. Don't give me a Cobble Hill. That's an advantage to me. I do too many of them. Although, is there such a thing when it's the best brand?
I wish I could do more Cobble Hills. I love them and I can barely access them.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're really great. I'm always when I come over to Europe, I'm always bringing a huge suitcase full of them for folks to trade, because it's like, here you go, they're great. But yeah, I think multiple challenges is a great idea, and the challenge may be about the image, but I think more about what you're doing is really cool. So like at Nationals, the Cobble Hill competitions that you referenced, Hannah, that was the highlight of my whole weekend. To have the double relay, where it was a team of 8 doing 2 puzzles, and you had to rotate every, whatever it was, 5-10 minutes or something like that. And so everybody had to be right side up and upside down. You had to switch puzzles. The rotation was such that one person would stay on the image and the other 3 would be on the next image. So there was a telephone communication, passing of information that had to happen. Like that to me was a real test of a team, in addition to being totally fun and interesting.
Yeah. Which is, that testing more teamwork and communication and puzzling skills. But on top of that, how do you interact with puzzlers on different puzzlers or on different puzzles?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, if they wanted to, here's an idea. If you wanted to introduce a, saying that we want just raw puzzling, which is, in a team, it's not raw puzzling. So much of it is communication. But what you could do is have a round where all 4 members of the team everybody does a 500 solo, but it's the team's combined time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a situation where teams might take, like, there's some puzzlers who are technically slower as soloists. They're absolutely fabulous to have on a team because they're great upside down, or they can pass, or they can sort, right? Like, you need those people. You really need those people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm building teams, I don't look just for the fastest times. I look for who can do the jobs. But if we wanted to introduce a just raw speed to do a round where the team works as soloists and it's cumulative, but that's only one round, and it's definitely not the last round. It's in the middle.
I also am thinking about
that sent me down like a wormhole of thoughts right now of like what you said of like having to put together a team with people who have very, very different skills. That would kind of involve leagues right now, but like you would have to have a team of like someone who can do like a sub 30 and on the other end of the spectrum, someone who does like an hour and a half on average. And then that made me think of a dog sport. Sorry. There is a dog sport called fly ball. And
Yes.
that is literally like, it's a very exciting one to watch. And it's a team sport. And you have dogs running over obstacles. And they have to run through, I think, 4 obstacles to get to a machine, catch the ball, and run back for the other dog to get started, and run to the machine, get the ball, run back. Now, with those teams, they always adjust the obstacle height to the smallest dog, who is always going to be the slowest one, because they're going to like obviously team them up with windhounds and other dogs that can like run extremely fast, but they're also as tall, so they have to jump high. So they're always going to have like a very small little dog who is like barely just running over and is like quite slow compared to everyone else. And so like there you include like a puzzler who is not like a 30-minute something, but you have to like use their skills as well. Yeah.
I love that. And the idea is like, if you did a individual within the team, like a cumulative team individual time, you would need, like you're saying, you would need a cannon, somebody who can bring a sub 30. Like, how are we going to get to, I don't know if you take the average, I think probably better than taking the average time is taking the cumulative time. So it's like, okay, how are we going to get the team to under an hour 20 or whatever it is? And then each person is shaving off every minute that they can. But it's who shoulders what burden in what challenge gets very interesting.
I think we could talk about this for another hour and a half. But Mari, we have kept you for long enough, and we do have one other person in here who we would like to chat with. So thank you so much for talking, and I hope you can get some rest.
And congratulations on today's time.
Able.
Thank you. Puzzle hard, everybody. Clear the room, clear the room. We're so close.
We are so close. So yes.
I'll be watching.
Bye.
Bye. A quick check-in before we start our next interview. We have 74 people who have finished. So 11 folks left puzzling, and we are just over an hour and 14 minutes.
And we already have Janne Birgitte Ueland from, I think, oh my God, Norway, right?
It's from Norway, yes.
Yes, from Norway, joining us, who is known as the Knitting Puzzler. And I can already see something knit puzzle related on you.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it was actually pure luck that I ended up wearing it today, because here I am right now. It's almost 30 degrees, but I am in the basement, which is quite cool. So I could use it.
First of all, tell us about doing this puzzle and how it was for you. What did you like about the puzzle? How you went around with the strategy? Just let us know what you thought.
Yeah, I think it was a really fun puzzle. As you have already talked about, it's easy to sort, and you have all of the different places you can work off. I, as many other, began with pomegranates at the bottom, and then did actually quite much of the edge. I had a lot of freebies pieces, so I could work out of those. I almost feel a bit not guilty, but I think I had in total 15 pieces or something like that already connected. So I could work off those, and I did leave the castle to quite late. I did it before the sky, but I started on it before I began on the boats, and then I just like, nope, I couldn't figure out what was up and down. So I did the boats, and then the castle before the gradient sky, and I found it quite a good gradient to be able to do the start on lighter pieces and then work my way to the darker. So I found it quite fun.
That's great. Are you a sky person or not a sky person?
It depends. The Norwegian national last year, we had a yellow sky. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. I did really slow down on that gradient sky, but normally I do like skies. So I found this one had a lot more of a gradient than the Norwegian lighthouse. So yeah, it was very fun, this one.
And how was it to do? I know it's a new brand, but we've been talking about how it's very similar to the EJJ puzzles. So was it familiar for you to do this one?
I haven't done so many EJJs yet, so I'm still quite new to the brand. But yeah, I could really, even though I haven't done so many, I think I'm up to 5 EJJ puzzles. So even though I didn't know them that well, I could still feel the same pieces. I think I find EJJs quite tight fitted. And you have this with this puzzle too. I'm much more used to Ravensburger, which is a lot more loose.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely true. Like you do have to use like force to get pieces in.
Some of them, yeah, I had
their
to.
places. Yes. What was your favorite element on the picture?
I think I liked the vases. The pattern on those was fun to put together.
Yeah, I very much agree. Those were a lovely place to start with.
Yeah.
We were also talking about with Mari the pigeons in the corner, the very funny looking birds in the bottom right.
I registered that it was pigeons, but I didn't really much look anything about them. So when she was talking about it, I was looking quite to them and was just like, what? But yeah, they are cute.
Yeah. I have given enough time for us to talk about like the puzzle itself and everything. I've been waiting to like talk to you about the knitting.
Yes, yes.
When Michelle was saying that you would be joining the call, I was like, oh my god, yes, she knits.
Yes.
So tell us about like how the two hobbies come together, how you came into knitting, how you came into puzzling, how much time you spend on each. Just like let us know about everything.
I started knitting when I was young teenager, really. I found myself during school hours during the lessons that I concentrated a lot better if I had something doing with my hands. So I started my first ever real knitting project was a blanket. Just throw myself deep into the end with the largest possible work you can do. And just from there on, I've knitted more and more. I've come to a conclusion now that I have so advanced in my knitting journey that I won't do any more patterns other people have done. I would just want to create myself. Mm-hmm. And that was also part of the reason why I made this jacket. When I first entered the Norwegian National last year as my first ever competition and was planning on going to Spain, I said I don't want to have I don't want to have puzzle wear, because how often do you actually use them outside of competitions? But then when I was this last autumn afterwards, I was getting a bit of a FOMO, but I didn't want to really support Temu or other fast fashion brands. So I was just like, oh, I think I want to make them myself. And then I had to start working out how large the pieces should be and those kind of stuff. And I don't do test knittings. I can't despise them. So I chose to knit myself a pair of socks just to test the pattern or like the puzzle piece and sizing. And from there, when I started thinking about this, I was okay. I should maybe document my process. So I started my Instagram account, the Knitting Puzzler, just to document how I'm doing this, and then I was okay. Now just gonna jump straight into knitting my jacket. First time ever really constructing a garment like this, and I was just like, why not? So I estimate. I had a goal when I started at 2nd of January that I should be done by Norwegian Nationals in mid-April, and I was done at the end of. End of February, beginning of March. So I did used all of my spare time knitting, and I estimate I used between 100 and 120 hours on this jacket. So
Wow.
it's a lot of work, but I'm super happy with how it's turned out, and it's a really great conversation starter when I was at Norwegian Nationals, because not everyone, but very many was just like, oh, I love your jacket. How have you done it? How is it possible? So that was very, very fun. I'm a bit introverted, so having that as a conversational starter was very nice.
Could you model the jacket for us? Could you stand up and sort of show us what it looks like? Michelle's got you up on the YouTube. Wow.
It looks so amazing.
Oh my gosh. There's so many different colors. The pattern is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Did you make the pattern available?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I have just been a bit like, okay, I'm done with it, but I'm working on it. And the reason right now I am at my sister's house. I don't have a husband, but I call my sister my puzzling, because she is my supporting sibling in the puzzling world.
That's so sweet.
And I did take it with me on holiday, not to wear it because I knew about the temperature, but to actually sit down and make the pattern. So I'm working on it. Hopefully it will be done during the summer.
Please let people know once it's done, because I think there's people who are going to be very much into like trying it. How much would you recommend something like this for a beginner knitter who has done crochet already?
I would strongly advise against it.
Okay. So like the many colors, like I know, like my mom knits a lot, like not as much now, but she used to knit a lot, including like these Norwegian patterns, so like the very, very complex ones. So I have only seen it being done, and it looks incredibly difficult.
Normal Norwegian knitting, you have maybe with the long stretches, you have 8 stitches before you change colors. Here I have 15 for each puzzle piece.
Oh, good.
So, and also I have 6 colors I have done mine in. So taking 6 threads, working them all the way, that's not possible. So what I did is that on the back side, I did just the colors in the stretch for the puzzle piece, and then I switched the colors around, knitted, did a knot on them, and then continued the next color, and then did that all the way through, and then knitted backwards. Wow. And on the back, because I've knitted it in pieces, because having those many threads, but in the back I had 17 threads at once. So this is
oh my gosh.
some of the reason why I'm saying this is not for the faint-hearted. It's very advanced knitting, just because of the thread management.
Okay. Well,
So
this is
you
even
have
something
for
for
mom to
people
do
to
it.
strive for then.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to make any other patterns? So you have like a cardigan sweater. I know that in the US, I can't remember if it's knit or crochet, but Emma Pan has a tank top, a puzzle piece tank
crocheted.
top. Crocheted, yeah.
The other project I've seen is crocheted. I haven't seen really a knitted sweater anywhere else. I'm thinking about making a t-shirt one because it's quite warm having long sleeves and those kind of things. But that is something that will come eventually.
I do want to cut in because we only have 4 puzzlers left. So that's all. We're very close to, well, clearing the room because we are at an hour 25 minutes, so we still have half an hour to go, and all of our puzzlers are very close to finishing. So it's very, very exciting. We might be clearing the room.
That's so exciting.
It's so amazing. And
we have a
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say we have 2 puzzlers who have maybe 15 pieces left. So we're so close. We have over half an hour.
We are so very close. And I have one more question for you, Janne, right?
Yeah.
So it's not Janne. Yeah. My question is, what do you think about speed knitting competitions that I know that Nordic countries have? And I think it's the same like quirky, weird hobby as speed puzzling, as in like competitive hobby. Like, would you ever consider participating, or have you ever, or what are your thoughts on speed knitting?
I haven't speed knitted myself. I'm a fast knitter, and you had a Norwegian TV from several years ago. They had slow TV, where you was watching just something very, very slow for many, many hours. And one of them were making a sweater from shredding the sheep, spinning the yarn, and making.
No.
And someone was telling me that I should definitely join the knitting side of this because I was quite fast knitting. I think I will keep my competition to just speed puzzling. I enjoy knitting, but I enjoy more the craft of it rather than the speed of it. So even though I think I could have done it quite well in a speed knitting competition, I will just enjoy the process of making stuff rather than letting it be fast.
Do you actually know anything about the rules, as in like like how speed knitters do the speed knitting? Like, do you have to have like a specific pattern that you have to do?
I haven't looked into it,
Yeah.
but I would guess you have like a pattern, or like if you are knitting a square, rectangle, or something like that, it's quite measurable. The same for everyone. So I think that is what you will do in that type of competition.
Yeah, that sounds so cool, and all that slow TV sounds so cool. That sounds like something that could be a very good backdrop for a puzzle.
Yeah, you have the most crazy one is the slow TV of Hurtigruten, the Norwegian coastline, which is 5 days, 24 hours of just watching a boat sailing through the Norwegian coast.
That's awesome.
So cool.
One of the most famous clips from that one is a 15 minutes image. You can almost call it a still image of a cow grassing. That's all what's happening. It's so fun.
This sounds like the most amazing things. Like I do tune in to like live streams of like the most random things that have been now appearing on YouTube. There's like a waterhole in Namibia that I watch very often, where you can watch like animals appearing to drink from time to time, and then like there's actual like admins of that stream who are going to put timestamps of when animals are approaching. So you can like watch it back. But there was also one that I have heard. It might be Norway, it might be Sweden. I'm not entirely sure. But that's about moose who are just doing their trip from somewhere to somewhere as they migrate. And that's also just moose being shown for like, I don't know, a week or something like that. It sounds so amazing.
I was really hoping to watch more bird TV when I got a cat, but she can't, she doesn't understand how to look at a screen. So otherwise, I think I'd be watching a lot more just birds flitting to and from a bird feeder. But alas, not so much.
Well, what a shame.
Yeah.
But I love the slow TV, and I also respect the keeping the knitting for fun and not for speed. You're like, I can only do one fast hobby in my life, and I'll keep it to puzzling and not the knitting.
Yeah, I also like that attitude very much. What are your next projects, both knitting and puzzling?
My next project is making a local competition in the Stavanger region where I'm living. We are aiming for the beginning of November. So that is my next puzzling related project. And I haven't decided on the knitting side. I don't know what I want to make really. So that is up for suggestion, I will say.
What is your favorite project that you've made with knitting? And if it's the puzzling jacket, then what is your second favorite?
I will say, except for this jacket, it's my russebukse. And I have to explain a bit more about that. It's overall pant trousers that is traditional used for the graduation ceremony from high school in Norway. If you look up russ as a concept, you will see this crazy celebration that Norwegian teenagers do to celebrate the end of high school. And all of them wear either not a dress, that's the Norwegian word for it, but trousers and a jacket combined to one garment, or overall trousers. And I don't want to use a lot of money to this company that is more or less scamming teenagers. So I just decided I want to make it my own. And then that was actually the first ever garment I knitted. And it was also a garment I made without a pattern. So it's quite a full circle, which my favorite knit project is actually also those I made myself from scratch. But that was a crazy 1.5 year project, which I was doing during school hours and afterwards, and just like when I had 1,000 other things doing at the same time.
Wow.
That sounds incredible.
We've also been chatting about a possible World Cup of puzzling, which we saw that you had submitted an answer to as well. Can you tell us what you think about a possible World Cup of puzzling?
I was thinking about a lot of the logistic, how people will qualify, and the point system. You had a lot of interesting discussions with Marie with how the competition should be, and I think you had a lot of great suggestions there. What I was submitting had to do with how the Nordic competition is done, because that is quite different to both a European and the world's competition. You have two types of competition in the Nordics. You have the Nordics main event, and then you have Nordic Open. Nordic Open is a more beginner-friendly competition. I know there was a bit of talk online about why did they use the postcard puzzle for that competition. So disappointing. I don't feel that way. I wasn't at the competition, but I watched it, and I'm interested in going in the future, but I don't think it was a disappointment, because that is the beginner competition, a competition for people to really look into what is speed puzzling, and then having an easy puzzle is great. Then you have the Nordic main event, which is where the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Iceland, each have a set number of competitors who can enter to individual pairs and teams. And when the quota is filled, it's filled. There can't be any more puzzlers. And then they compete like a normal speed puzzle competition in the different categories. But the top 10 places get points for their countries. So if there is 4 Swedes, 2 Danes, 2 Norwegian, and 2 Finns in the top 10, they will get the points for the different countries, and they will also get ranked points on how they placed. And then at the end of all the different categories, they get a total amount, some amount. And then you will get a national or a country winner, not an individual person, but the country will be a winner. And I think that could be a great system to use for a World Cup. With, I think having just 10 places giving points is a bit few, because there is a lot more countries than 5 as you have in the Nordics. But using that kind of system for either 50 or 100 people who get points for their countries, and at the end of the competition you see who will be the winner overall. And then you can also add in the different type of competition, like the World Series did, and you have many different ways of finding the best the best country in the speed puzzling world. So I think doing some combination of this would be very, very great. And then having, like, say, 10 people per country who could enter, where there is either a national association or a national competition where you can qualify through. For the countries that don't have it, I don't think you should have 10 competitors, because they don't... It's wrong to say they don't participate in the community, but you need to have some sort of organization. But they should still be allowed to compete. So then maybe 4 people, so they can make a total of 1 team. But for the 10 people, that is the maximum. You can't have 10 for individual, 10 for pairs, and 10 for teams. It should be the same 10 people for all the competition. And then for teams, but why have 10 people when there is 4-person teams? Then you have a substitute for each of the teams in case something happens. I think that is better than having a cap of 8 or 12.
I really like the scoring idea. It was something that when Mari was talking, I was thinking about in cross country, which is a sport that I did. So just like running 3 miles as a race, you compete as an individual and a team. So you are trying to place yourself, but also based on where you finish. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, that is also a number of points that you accumulate. And then the lowest number of points for a certain number of people, 5 or 7, you add those up and the lowest score wins. And so that idea of doing it for like a country where it's not necessarily based on how fast you are, it's how deep your team is. So how many people, like, you know, averaging, that's adding up those sort of numbers, which I like as a World Cup format, because it's not necessarily who has the fastest puzzlers, it's how fast are you in relation to everyone else, and depending on what the puzzle is.
Yeah, because you can say for Norway, we have the fastest puzzlers. Kristin is one of the fastest in the world, but when you compare to Sweden, we don't have that of a deep bench. So in the Nordics, Sweden beat us, because they have a lot more near the top, even though we have more or less the top.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I do like the concept that you were describing with the Nordic Open and the Nordic Championship, having like 2 separate events, with like one being the professional one and the other one being like the more, not less professional, but more casual one, which is really open for everyone. And I very much agree that something like that should be something that is like promoted more or used more. I think that's a really, really good format. If for nothing else than for the international. Because like those rules for the internationals are just something that I think doesn't work at this point the way that it is, and like a World Open would very much solve a lot of problems.
Yeah,
in that sense.
And also in the open competition in Nordic, you can mix and match between countries however you want. So you had one of my favorite teams with their team names: a Swede, a Dane, a Norwegian, a Finn went into a puzzle competition, because they were made of 1 person from each country. And I
love that name.
Yeah, it makes so much fun out of the puzzling community without feeling that you are making a superstar team just because, oh, we are friends from different countries and we want to puzzle together, and then you miss some of the national competition or pride, sort of. I'm not sure what word I want to use, but yeah. You make it possible for them to puzzle together without them taking away the prestige of winning for your country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that sentiment. That is something that maybe should be like taken more into consideration when organizing competitions and championships. So that's really, really nice, and I can very much support that idea. Yes, Janne, thank you so very much for joining us. It was amazing to talk to you. We're going to not keep you anymore. Yes, congratulations on your time. I think I have seen that you were that you wrote somewhere that this was one of your fastest tries as well.
It was my 6th fastest, or depending on how the clock ends up working, it's either my 5th or my 6th best time.
Congratulations, that's exciting.
Thank you very much. And nice
incredible.
To you.
Congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck with your next knitting project.
Thanks.
And we have one puzzler still standing, who is Dora, our fan favorite, who is now tackling that cloud. And go, Dora! You can still finish it. You've got 20 minutes.
Yeah. Thumbs up from Dora. She's got the lighter side of that puzzle done, and she just knocked out that cloud. She's got the castle completely done. So now it's just all gradient and shape work, and she is really just methodically going through and working through that sky. About 18 minutes, 17 minutes left.
And there's also a lot of people rooting in the chat as well. So yes, the fan club is there. So go Dora and go Dora.
Go Dora.
And we have another person to chat to while Dora is still puzzling. And so we can watch and welcome Jessica from the US.
Hello.
Surprise.
Surprise. Jessica is a friend of mine, so it's nice to see you. Congratulations on your time. How did you?
Super fun. I opened it up and was immediately delighted because I love, love, love collecting puzzles from places that I've traveled to. So Aswara is from Morocco, and I was there in 2023.
Was it in your puzzle? The one with the tiles?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. Let me look.
Take a look, because that's actually one thing that I was wondering about when I saw your name in the meeting.
Yeah. Oops, there we go. This
Yes,
one
Jessica is the creator of this puzzle.
And that might be it from Morocco. Yeah.
But there is one picture in the tile puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's a secret, but I've been working on my second one. So hopefully everyone enjoys that eventually. I think it'll still be many, 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 many months. But if Michelle accepts it, I don't know. She hasn't seen it yet.
That's exciting. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love when we get the sneak peeks. We know that there's an upcoming Fox puzzle, the artist who did the Fox puzzles, coming up at some point in the future, and now we know that there's a tile puzzle coming. So very excited.
Maybe it's not a tile puzzle. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's not a tile puzzle. Well, a second Jessica Henderson original.
I have many talents. No, I'm just kidding.
True. Did you have a favorite part of this puzzle?
I really love the tagines because they were all different colors. The pomegranates are fun too, but the tagines were like, I love pattern work like that. So.
I love how you call them by their actual name and not just saying they're pots.
We've just been calling them pots.
They are tagines, Tagine, and they're like, you cook the food in the pots. And then it's also served in that too. And typically it's like a lamb and couscous and vegetables. They're really delicious. It's like a slow cooked, like melt in your mouth type of like stew type thing. It's really good.
Oh my gosh, now I'm getting really hungry.
Yeah.
Now I want to go to Morocco to get this.
Seriously, Mom,
Mhm.
it was magical. It's such a cool place. Yeah, I was really grateful to go. We were actually there when they had their really awful earthquake. So our
Oh,
trip was ended early, but we did get to enjoy Ribat and Fez and the like Squara and the Sahara. So that was pretty cool.
did you have a favorite part of your trip to Morocco?
We actually did this really cool weaving workshop at a women's co-op, like an Amazigh, which is like the indigenous women, and they taught us how to weave, and it is really, really, really hard. We made like little squares this big, and it took like 5 hours,
Wow.
but it was cool. That was even my husband's favorite part too, even though it's kind of, I think weaving or like knitting crochet is often thought of as like a women's hobby, but or a women's role, but he really loved that too. We call it type 2 fun. I don't know if you are familiar, but like type 1 fun is when you're like actually laughing and having a great time in the moment, and type 2 fun is like a really hard hike where like you had a good time and it was fun, but in the moment maybe not like haha fun.
I think
That
speed
might
puzzling
actually
might
apply
fall under
to
that.
puzzling as well.
Yeah, sure.
We had the same thought. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
mine was very cool.
Do you consider yourself a sky person in relation to this puzzle?
I consider myself a sky person as long as the sky doesn't have clouds. I hate clouds. So like this
mm,
doesn't count because it was mostly sky. Pretty fine. Like one cloud, I'll take it. But like when there's a sky that you can't really see the gradient because there's different cloud textures everywhere, I tend to struggle with those. So
that's
yeah.
very fair. Yeah, this class seems like it's been more of a lifeline for people than a detriment because people can use it and sort of build off of it because it's just the one. It's just one cloud. We were talking to Mari about counting things, and so if there's only one cloud, then that's a pro.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the sun in the top, or the I don't know if that's like a camera flare. I called it a sun in my head when I was puzzling. In the top left corner, and all of the birds were different too, which is nice. They weren't just
Mhm.
like a repeated bird texture. So they were different sizes and they were in different backgrounds, so those were easy to place too. Yeah, it was a great puzzle. I
Mhm.
did really appreciate that the shape, like the cut was the same as Speed Puzzles. I was like, oh yeah, this feels great. I know how to do this.
That's been a common theme, I think, for folks is that even though it's a new brand, and it is a new brand, but it's the same cut, and so for all intents and purposes, it feels like a Speed Puzzle EU puzzle.
Yeah. Same with like when we do like Nathan's or other puzzles that it's like it's not a Ravensburger, but it's kind of a
It's
Ravensburger.
a Ravensburger. Yeah,
Feels
yeah.
familiar. But yeah.
Do you like these sort of illustrated puzzles more, or do you prefer like a photograph?
Nope. Illustrations all the way, baby. I've been practicing quite a lot more landscapes and photographs because I'm not necessarily good at them. And I do enjoy them like casually, but I struggle for speed. I actually really loved the New Zealand one that we did a few weeks ago with the 4 different images because it was like the perfect amount of practice in small amounts and they were each different portable.
Mhm.
They were really nice.
I also did that puzzle. I'm really excited because it's basically like 4 mini puzzles. So that is one that I will keep and use to like practice photographs in the future because it's not something that will take me like 2 hours to do, but I can still get the photo work in while tackling like a small.
I feel like it'd be a good warm-up puzzle to take with you when you go to international competitions and you can hypothesize that there's probably going to be some sort of photograph.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've also been talking about the World Cup of puzzling. Do you have any thoughts on if there was a World Cup of puzzling, what that might look like?
I don't. I really was interested in hearing what everyone else had to say, and like there was a lot of good ideas. You brought up cross country recently, and swimming is the same way.
Mhm.
I commented that on the YouTube. I think that, yeah, I like the idea of there being lots of different tests, but it doesn't have to be the same people. So like somebody, I don't remember who brought up, it's like these 10 people go and they compete in all the events, but in so many other sports you specialize where you don't necessarily do all the thing. You might go to the Olympics just for back or just
Mhm.
for breaststroke or whatever that is. And so I think it would be interesting to see like who is the best team and who is the best individual might not be the same people. I think frequently they are, but if we build a culture of specialization, then it could be really interesting to see who rises to the top. It could be someone is really good at gradients and someone is really good at random cuts and someone is good at other things. So I love the idea of testing a country and them sending each of their best puzzlers for those different challenges.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's a really, really nice one. I also like that concept. And before we continue, there's 10 minutes left. So Dora, there's 10 minutes left, and you're so close.
You got
You got
this.
it, Dora. Oh, she knows. She knows she's
Easy.
close. She's
Easy.
locked in.
Team believe.
I love
believe.
she's got her pieces. She's got her pieces close to her puzzle. They're right in front of her. She has turned it sideways so that she could get the sky closer to her. She's got pieces on her board, which is right next to her, so she doesn't have to move very far. She is optimizing everything that she has to do so she can finish this puzzle as fast as she can.
So we're all here for Dora.
Yeah.
We just really want to see those last pieces go in.
Yes.
She's gonna get it. She's got it for sure. She's got
Yes.
these. It's all little small sections. It's not
Mhm.
not a big square, so she can use the shape work to just drop them all in.
Mhm.
Love
I
that
also
cloud.
turned my puzzle multiple times because I like working right in front of me. So yeah, I turned it to the side. I had it wholly upside down at one point.
I always
That's
get
actually
so
one
nervous.
thing I was wondering about that we would maybe talk about, but we ended up never mentioning it. I think while people were puzzling of who turns it around to have like a part of it closer to themselves. But I didn't pay attention to it at all. But it's good to know that at least you did it.
I almost always do. Yeah. Especially if it's a portrait. My friends on Twitch call it the box spin. Yeah, I love spinning my puzzle just so that it's like right in front of me because my eyes are used to the light here. I feel like the further away
Mm,
light changes and like the light changes less, I think, left to right. But in my opinion, in my situation, like my light is off right now, but I have 2 windows. So the light is very different at the top than the bottom. So I try to just puzzle right in front of me.
that's really interesting thinking about how your light for your like at home situation maybe changes. I mean, I feel like I notice that when I like stand up or sit down,
Mhm.
like how the light is changes and like how I'm looking at the puzzle changes. So having like a set, if you're looking at it right in front of you, it's always the same. Your brain can process the same sort of thing.
Especially when
Um,
it's a really subtle gradient like this.
mhm.
Yeah. I also, for some reason, I don't find myself naturally standing up at home competition, like in virtual competitions. I almost always stand for the majority of my in-person competitions, but I just like forget. I have a really difficult time like simulating the adrenaline and like the intensity of a live competition at home. So I tend to just sit most of the time. I think I flipped standing up and I might sort standing, like do my polls standing and then sit to do the actual
Mm,
polling.
fascinating. I'm
Maybe-
And
still working on.
that is something I find very interesting too. I also like most of the time I stand for live events, and then at home almost never. Maybe for the flip, yes, but nothing
Yeah.
else.
And I don't know why I do that. I get in the zone and
Yeah, I still try to stand when I'm at home. I'm trying to build up so that I can stand for a whole puzzle. I'm not there yet, but I'm just so used to doing it when I'm speeding.
nice.
It's mostly
just-
about the back. Like I do a lot of like core workouts and stuff like that to be able to do it, but like I still can't. Even though I don't think
Mhm.
I'm not fit, but like still it's just so challenging to keep standing.
Yeah.
That's why you have to get faster so that it doesn't hurt that much.
This is what I'm saying. The slow puzzlers who have to stand up longer because it takes them longer to do the puzzles. It's like, oh, I could stand for 40 minutes. That's fine. I can't stand for 90. And that's how long it takes me to do a puzzle. So Unfortunately, I just got to get a stronger core, I guess, or better at puzzling. One of the two.
Nice. Both.
Or rather, I think the stronger core is maybe at this point easier, at least for me to achieve.
We've got it's just under 5 minutes to go, and Dora's maybe got 15 pieces left.
I'm
So close.
Let's go.
Yes.
I'm
Very
rooting for
excited to quote unquote clear the room, knock on wood. The chat is so excited. Ooh, somebody says try using a table that can adjust the height. If the table is too high to do the puzzle sitting, you can stand. Oh, to force you to stand. Ooh, that's devious.
I do have a
Yeah,
standing, but
I actually
currently do that.
be a really interesting concept for a puzzle competition at one point to have higher tables where people actually can stand without hunching over too much. I actually think that might be healthier for everyone, but it's also a bigger cost for people.
I was going to say people are different heights, so it would be harder for some folks and easier for others. That
I
would be-
didn't even think of different heights.
We have an 11-year-old phenom in the United States named Connor who basically doesn't have to hunch over because he's so much shorter than everyone, so he can stand and it's like at an optimal height for him. And I'm like, oh, if only I could be as tall as Connor, and then I could just, but I just could get a taller
Adjustable
table.
tables then.
Yeah.
Adjustable tables.
Yeah.
Dora's
we have
closing in.
four pieces left.
Let's go.
Go, Dora, go, Dora.
Oh! And 4 minutes to go.
almost.
This is going to be done.
She's got maybe 3 pieces left.
That
Oh,
is
this
3
guy.
pieces missing.
This guy is such a pain.
One more piece to go. Well, there's one more still.
One more. Get it off. Get it off that. Get it off that board.
Yes!
Well done,
Yes!
Dora. Woo!
Well done.
Amazing.
Officially under 2
Congratulations.
hours. Even with the added time, we have cleared the room. Phenomenal.
have
Great
cleared
job,
the
everybody.
room.
Yay.
Just don't forget to
Yeah, hit that done
done.
button.
Yes.
Hit it. Yeah.
Yes.
We know you did it, Dora.
Yay.
Good job. The chat is going crazy.
Glückwunsch, Dora.
Congratulations,
Great
Dora, on
job.
finishing on the
Oh,
time.
Yay.
What a good puzzle. What a great race. Good job,
And welcome
everybody.
back, Michelle.
Yeah, well
Yes.
done, Dora. Congratulations. Herzlichen Glückwunsch. Super. Yes, so we have cleared the room officially.
Yay.
And for this live stream with this brand new puzzle from Oleo puzzle brand in Belgium, we're very excited to be able to work together with them to share this with the EJJ community. And yeah, I really appreciate everybody who participated both in the Flex and the live. And thank you so much, Hannah and Fruji, for leading the live stream and yeah, keeping it fun and entertaining and just having a wonderful time. And thanks to Jess also for joining us for some final comments and reflections. So thanks everyone for joining us on YouTube, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.